Yo, hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing an Estela guide. This guide is going to cover basically the essentials for Estela as a free-to-play player, and what you need to
Everything is
know,
getting
what
better,
artifacts
isn't
to
it?
run, what
I
weapons are
hope
going to be
this fight
best on
never
her as
fades.
a free-to-play, and pretty much how to obtain everything that you're going to need for her. So, I'm not going to script anything today, I'm just going to try to go through as best I can and explain it in the video. I'll try to do as little possible cuts as I can, just to make it more fluent, to make it more, you know, clear to people if they don't have an understanding. But anyway, let's get into it. So the relics, this is her abilities, obviously. The main ones you want to upgrade are going to be her Bewitched Illusion. Bewitched Illusion is going to be her summons, right? So these are going to be her like little creatures, her summons on the ground that deal damage. Violent Reverie is her ultimate. That's her big fuck off dragon, big boy. Very, very strong. So yeah, I highly recommend doing these two. This one, the Misfortune's Guide, you don't need to fully upgrade this. Like, I got it to level 17 before I actually realized that it's kind of not as useful as these other two. So you don't need to fully invest in it. And the reason it's not as useful is because
Don't think about it,
this
Estela.
is
Don't
her
get near them.
debuff that you apply to the enemy. So the way that
We'll find them.
Misfortune works is when you apply Misfortune to the enemy, your like dragons, I'm gonna call them, her summons, will basically all start attacking that one person that you threw the Misfortune onto, right? Like they'll basically start attacking it. And they gain 35% increased damage against the marked targets, right? And yeah, you'll start getting corruption, and corruption is what you use to basically get more summons back, right?
Does it really
We'll
heal
get
for
into that
what, Tin
after,
Tan?
but yeah, this
Does it hurt?
basically, it doesn't have any purpose apart from getting more damage. It's going to always apply a 35% increase in damage, and it's always going to last for 8 seconds. So the only thing you're getting from upgrading this is literally just increasing the damage that it deals when you throw it at the enemy. So if you're doing a summon build, I highly recommend just focusing on these two first, and get this one up last, because it only gets increased damage for like physical damage when it hits the enemy. That's about it. Um, as for her weapon mastery, they're all amazing. Obviously, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The more you get in these, the better they're gonna be. Just fully upgrade these as much as you can. Relic traits, once again, all amazing. They all help out. Get them as much as you can. Get them as high as you can. I would highly recommend focusing on getting your traits up. Traits and your weapon mastery. These are very strong on her. These are top priority first. Second would probably be her summons, because you're going to use her summons mostly, like afterward. And then third most important will be her ultimate. So now we're going to focus on artifacts. For her artifacts, I have personally chosen the Responsive Pact set mixed with the Bellicose Pact set. These two combined, I've had better luck with, honestly. You can try some other perks. If you want to try some different builds, you can try using Rampaging Pact, which will increase your damage. So this will be good if you're using something like Gallows for an exotic, right? Otherwise, if you just want to do a summons build and you want to make her summons deal the most damage, I highly recommend just Bellicose Pact. It's the same for the 4th trait slot. Responsive Pact is the better option, in my opinion, because it increases the damage of her summons, right? Like it just increases her summons damage, which is really, really nice. The other alternative that you can go for her will be... I deleted them all. Oh no, here it is. Resignating Pact. You could do this one as well. This is going to be good for boss DPS, right? So if you're going to use this on like a single target only, you're not going to be constantly doing ad clear and stuff like that. If you want the best possible single target, then Resignating Pact will be better. It's only going to be better via 7% though. It's going to be 47% versus 40%, I believe. Yeah, 40%. So it's like you gain 7% more damage on single target, but for general purpose use, and even in bosses, I highly recommend just using Responsive Pact. It just feels way nicer. Okay. Ring of Conversion. So the reason that I have Ring of Conversion on my build is because Estela actually has healing on her little summons. So when her summons actually hit the enemy, they will heal you and them for a percentage of the damage that they deal, right? So having Ring of Conversion actually makes it so that you can heal off of your summons and you can like obtain an overshield. So I found that to be really, really cool. I thought it was a really unique feature. So if you wanted to get like extra overshields while using Estela to make yourself even tankier, you could honestly do that. I think it's amazing. I'll show you right now. Why I think it's absolutely amazing. I think it's so cool. So you throw it in your summon and see how they hit it. You can literally get extra overshield from your summons hitting enemies because they heal you, right? So I think that Ring of Conversion is honestly an absolutely amazing artifact to run. For the first one, I went Nourishing Pact. I don't think there's really anything better. I tried looking and like I was talking to a lot of other people about this, and there is some alternatives that you can use. Like any defensive one won't really matter the most, but yeah, I think that Nourishing is the best because like if you are low on HP, as long as you have a single bar. By the way, this is like a rage meter. So this is like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So this is how your summons like actually like work. So having this first bar is like a tier 1 summon, a tier 2 summon, and a tier 3 summon. We'll get into that after, but pretty much like yeah, as long as you have like a little bar, you can just activate it whenever. As long as you're at the first bar, and it'll summon summons. Or summon the summon. And it'll pretty much just restore your health. So that's like the reasoning why I went to Nourishing Pacts. It just feels better than the other ones that you could do. So Nourishing, Ring of Conversion, Bellicose Pact, and Responsive Pact. Now, for the substats, I have personally opted into Signature, Super, and Ability. I think that those are the best ones you can get on her. Now, a lot of other people might also want to go, if you're using Gallows as well, you could also use Weapon Enhancement. That's another very viable option. For an exotic, you want Weapon, Ability, Signature, and Super. These four are going to be best in slot. They have the golden ticks. So the game actually tells you, like, these are going to be the best in slot. I don't agree with these for, like, some characters. I do believe that a lot of these golden ticks for some characters are incorrect, and I do think that other characters have better builds. But for Estela, I think these are the best. I do agree with these. Super, Signature, Ability, and Weapon. These are down, like just the best, hands down. So yeah, focus on those. I'm going for the ability spam, like the ability build. I think that if I get Gallows, I'm gonna do some more testing in the future, and I'm gonna use Weapon as well, just to see like how big of a difference it makes. But for now, I just really like to make my ultimate nuke the hell out of the enemy. Like the amount of extra damage that you can get from just using all of the ability ones is just crazy to me. I absolutely love it. Like, you just throw your ability, debuff the enemy, get that extra damage buff, and it just goes to town, honestly. It just destroys the enemy. Like, I love it. That's, you know, 1.6 mil, and like it could be buffed from tan, and so like you could get tan buff to do even more. You can constantly have your little summons in the mix and stuff. Like it's really disgusting. So that's why I prefer to run the ability, super, and signature. So signature boost actually won't affect your ultimate, but ability will affect your ultimate. And so will super. So these two will affect it massively, and their buffs are huge, like 66%, 71%. So that's why I like these two. You can replace signature, and you can put weapon enhancement, like I said, if you want to use Gallows instead, because signature is only going to be your little summons. But I think that like once you get like all three of your little summons up, you know, doing their thing, like they kind of hurt. You know, they're doing decent amounts of damage. You apply your debuff to the enemy as well, and they start going ham, honestly. They're not as good as the dragon, but I mean, like, that's pretty decent damage right there, you know. Nothing to be sad about, that's for sure. So, yeah, that's why I prefer this build. These are the artifacts I use. They're the substats. Defense substats don't matter. These are personal preference. Like, do whatever you want to do. Shield boost is always nice. Health boost is always nice. Actually, healing boost is another one. I forgot about this. So, because of Estela healing with the Ring of Conversion, I actually run healing boost because it gives you more healing, believe it or not. So when you actually throw down these dudes right here, it's healing for 337 right now, right? That's its single heal. If you actually have less healing boost, it actually heals for less. So yeah, if you want to get more healing from Ring of Conversion, you can actually use healing boost, and it's kind of good actually. That's the artifacts. Now the other things are talent trees. So for her talent trees, as a free to play, I don't know. I wouldn't really recommend getting more characters as a free to play. It's just not worth it in my opinion. It's better to get other characters. So the only thing from her traits that I've noticed, her talent trees, is you're only going to be getting a 35% damage increase. It'll only be 35% more damage from T6 to T0. The rest of the kit is just quality of life stuff. So this one here just gives you and your summons more healing, right? So once again, just quality of life, extra healing, etc., etc. This one is like little suiciders. So you're at little summons will actually go off and they will explode. Depending on the tier. So tier 1 is 1200, tier 2 is nearly 3000, and tier fucking 3 is nearly 5k. So that's pretty decent. They just deal extra little bits of damage. So tier 2 is actually not too bad. That is a little bit of extra damage, but from the rest of these, this one just makes your summons last longer. So T3 is just they just last 42 seconds now, so that's an improvement. This one right here, don't be misled, but the summons inflicted with misfortune is increased to 50%. This actually isn't 50% more damage. What it's telling you is it means the base 35% from the debuff, which is your Q or whatever your active is that isn't your summon. So whatever your other active is, that debuff, that is 35% extra damage, right? That's going to get turned into 50%. So it's only a 15% damage buff, right? It's not a 50% damage buff, it's a 15% because it's going from 35 to 50. I thought it was 50, but I was recorrected earlier today and told it was 15. So yeah. This one is just a pure 20% increase. I don't know what to tell you. It's 20% more damage. So it's T5 is simple, okay? This is T6. So T6 is going to increase the amount of corruption that you gain. Now, corruption is her little bar down the bottom. So when you shoot enemies, you get corruption, etc., etc. This is what that is, right? You get corruption while in combat, 2 per second. You get 4 while out of combat. The base corruption gained by triggering accident is increased to 10. Her base is like 7, I think. Ooh, is it on a passive? I don't know. It's somewhere here. You get corruption. It's somewhere in her kit. But anyway, it's not too much. It's increased by a little bit. Okay, so now to explain the summons to you. So you have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 summons, okay? So reaching 15 corruption will be a tier 1 summon. Reaching 40 will be a tier 2 summon, and reaching 100 corruption will be a tier 3 summon. Now, the difference between a tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, I'll show you in a minute, but basically, the only difference that I have found out is the tier 1 is pretty bad. I would never use the tier 1, ever. It attacks every 2 seconds, right? Spewing only 1 shot, right? The tier 2 attacks every 2 seconds, but it shoots 2 shots, right? And the tier 3 will attack every 1.5 seconds, and it shoots 2 shots as well, right? So I think the best overall one is going to be the tier 2. It's the easiest one to get to. If you have Gallows, it is a lot more effective. It's a lot better. So if you have Gallows, you can effectively summon tier 3. Otherwise, I would only recommend summoning tier 2s. And I'll show you what they do. So tier 3, right? This is what a tier 3 does. Shoots 2 shots, and it has a special ability. So this is what the tier 3 does. It'll do like a special ability soon, which does a ton of damage. Yeah, that right there. So the spin, it did 50k plus, right? That's what the tier 3 does. So I think it can do it twice in its summoning lifespan. You can do it twice. Yeah, there we go again, 56k. So it does that twice before it actually dies. So it gets like an extra 100 plus k, right? It's pretty nice. Well, for me, it gets extra 100k. The tier 1 summon, it's just bad. It's just like, it's one shot. It's so slow. There really isn't anything to it, honestly. It's just, yeah. And like for how easy it is to get a tier 2. So now like my bar is up to the second bar. I can get a tier 2 summon. So like I said, tier 1, tier 2, and then fully upgraded is the tier 3. So this is going to be the tier 2, and it is leagues better than the tier 1. So it does 2 shots now. And it's just like, it's so much easier to get to, and it's just way better. As you can see. I don't have the gallows. I've been farming it. I farmed for like 10 hours or something, and I didn't even get it on this weekly reset, like 3 attempts, so I don't have the gallows to show you guys, but the gallows is her best in slot. Now, the reason the gallows is her best in slot exotic is because it has this intrinsic trait right here, which is inflicting damage charges up the fired homing void grenades, right? Now, these homing void grenades will hit the enemy, and it shoots 2 of them, right? So when both of those grenades hit the enemy, that counts as more hits. That counts as like 2 more hits, and it's like big hits as well. So it actually makes it so that your bar down the bottom can charge up very quickly. So unlike a normal traditional shot, you know, it charges up quite slowly, right? The extra 2 hits are going to charge it up at like a pretty fast rate. Being an LMG, it's very effective, right? You know, very effective enough, but it's also going to jump up because of the extra rockets. It's going to make it charge really quickly. And what that does is in turn makes it so that you can get to tier 3 summons very effectively. Because like right now, as you can see, doing the tier 3s it's pretty ineffective to try to get to them. Like it's very hard to you know, it's quite difficult to get all the way there, reload my gun. You know, my first one's already at 11 seconds. Like, with higher upgrades in her, you can get it easier, but, you know, as a free-to-play person, it's quite difficult to, you know, like, my first summon's already disappearing. You know, by the time, there we go, by the time I even get my other summon back, it's like, it's pretty difficult. Like, it's disappearing again. Like, you can only keep 2 tier 3s up, so when you get gallows, you will be able to consistently keep 3 of them up, which is amazing, right? But for now, this is why I recommend without gallows, you just get the tier 2s, because it's way easier. You might be able to slip in 1 tier 3. You know, you might be able to slip in a single tier 3, but currently right now I have 1 tier 3 and 2 tier 2s. Yeah, it's just so difficult, like, especially with the pulse and stuff as well, it's just so hard to keep it up, so that's why Gallows is the best in slot. I'd really recommend getting Gallows. I haven't tested Heir Apparent. I want to do testing on Heir Apparent, but Gallows is also an amazing boss killer, especially with the Catalyst. Triggers Void Grenades faster, which means more corruption for her. Increased fire rate, which means more damage on the gun. It's like, these are just more damage on the gun and more corruption for her. Absolutely fucking amazing. Would recommend. Her primary, her other one, her pulse, it's personal preference. You can use whatever you want. If you like this pulse better, then use this pulse. If you like ultimatum, use ultimatum. Personally, I like ultimatum. I think it's amazing. Annihilation, amazing perk on it. Calypsidra. This one's good. Honestly, awesome. What it does is it increases your damage up to 75% if you hit like precision hits and stuff like that on the current magazine. Glutton is also amazing as well. Glutton can stack up to 30% bonus damage until the end of the stage is cleared. So that's like if you go in at the start of a strike, it does not clear this effect until the end of the strike, once it's finished. So this is really good Glutton. Absolutely amazing. If you do not have Gallows, I really recommend using Scorched. Earth. It's just better. Really fast fire rate. Has 425 ammo. Has a magazine of 85. This one has a magazine of 185, 43 in the mag, and its fire rate is like really bad. It's like 360. I have tried this gun. I didn't like it personally. I thought it was terrible. Honestly, I thought it was really bad. Um, I'd highly recommend just using this one, Scorched. It's way better. Yeah, I think I've covered everything with Estela and what you need to know, honestly. That's pretty much Estela in a nutshell. For the light link, use Wolf and Umiko to apply the debuff for longer. So that's your debuff when you're like active, right? Really good. Um yeah, that's about it really. That's basically Estela in a nutshell. Hope that helps to build your Estela. And yeah, bye bye.